Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday afternoon. Let me repeat. Happy Friday afternoon, everyone. JJ, Friday, baby.
Friday.
Oh, come on. Who's that? Carly Jepsen? That's more in the vibe of our producer, Alex Naples.
I don't even know if that's accurate, but I can't tell you who actually sings it, so I'm not going to correct you.
It's not Carly Rae Jepsen. It's Rebecca Black.
See, that was a quiz.
You know
failed
what,
it. You failed that quiz, bro. I was like, he can't.
Yeah, you know
if he
what?
gets it right.
Alex, you don't need to be ashamed or embarrassed about this one. Let me tell you, I'm proud that you had no idea who really sings that song.
And then
you shouldn't know who sings that song because that song is trash.
In comes
terrible.
Jen Alpha and goes, "Oh, it's Rebecca Black with a Q." Okay.
That's what, it was like 2013.
I know.
I had her
These are
poster in my
These are
room when
your
I was
people.
growing up.
Yeah, no, she's your contemporary. I mean, she's basically your age. Yeah, and I think that I remember making fun of it at the time. I was in this building. We were doing radio. I think it was pre-13. It had to be pre-2013. And she made that video, and it was like on a green screen, her in the back of a fake convertible talking about Friday. But guess what?
What you want to know what year it was released?
What year was it released?
2011.
Okay.
That was 14.
Yeah.
We are now in 2026. That was 15 years ago.
Annapolis was firmly planted in 6th grade.
You were like 11, 12 years old.
I was 11.
You probably had a crush on Rebecca Black.
Oh, the poor man's Carly Rae Jepsen. I've said it for years. I've said it for years.
I don't even know who Carly Rae Jepsen is.
Oh, stop it. We're going to rejoin the rest of the show with Carly Rae Jepsen, Annapolis. No? All right. Well, happy Friday to you.
There's probably one song to choose from.
I hope everybody's going well. We got lots to get into. JJ, I went to bed last night, laid my head on my pillow, and cried tears of joy and of sadness because college football season's coming a little bit closer to being ending. But also, I just thank the lucky stars that we had a decent freaking game last night, and it was a good one, man.
Yeah,
it was a
fun.
good one. And Ole Miss showed up for this one. Ole Miss was the SEC team you didn't think was going to be there, and they were the ones who had the best shot to be there. They were the ones who were giving the SEC any kind of title hope still, and they played their guts out, man. And Trinidad Chambliss had a great game, and they were driving down. They took 2 plays and 40 yards at the end. Everybody got nervous about it, and they had a shot at the end. But Carson Beck and the Miami Hurricanes and Mario Cristobal, I owe Mario Cristobal an apology because I never loved that guy at Oregon. I never loved the interviews we did with him at Pac-12 Media Days. I always thought he was a little bit arrogant, not a little bit, but a lot. And he was tougher to access, it felt like, to me. Maybe Radio Row was different for you guys than it was at TV. Maybe he felt like he needed to put on a different.
I had a completely different experience with Mario Cristobal than you did, but I was struggling with him as a head coach.
Oregon
underachieved under his watch, and the first couple years of Miami football under him were, remember the bad time clock management? What game was that? They fumbled or something.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Did you just see what he did?"
They could have kneeled that out, and they ended up trying to run the ball.
Yeah, and they lost.
And they fumbled.
They fumbled it, yeah. So, Mario Cristobal, apologies. You have taken your alma mater to heights we've not seen in a couple decades. Good for them.
Over 20 years.
I love that there are stories like Miami. And not that they're the underdog, but they kind of are the underdog. The version of this. Because you don't get a bigger underdog than the ACC right now compared to everybody else. Like, everybody, the way people talk, it's like, and think about, somebody posted, they go, imagine if this guy didn't make that 47-yard field goal and they showed the Miami kicker against Notre Dame. Imagine where we'd be if he doesn't make that kick against Notre Dame that gives them the win over the Fighting Irish.
Yeah.
Then you're talking about Notre Dame going to the college football playoff. Then you're talking about Miami being 9-3 and being absolutely mid, and people wondering whether or not Mario Cristobal will ever get them to the place. Now they've won 3 college football playoff games, and Pete Golding, to his credit, he had 2 official games as a head coach in college football. 2 official games, and he won both of them. Both those first 2 games of his head coaching officially were college football playoff games, and he won both of them. And then he lost this one by 4 points, and it was just whoever was going to have the ball at the very end with the most time. Even Trinidad Chambliss had 18 seconds and took it down to the field and actually gave him a shot at the very end. So I love this. I love that there was a game that was good, and I hope that this Miami-Oregon game turns out to be an instant classic as well, because I felt like this one last night was. So congrats to Miami, I guess. Bummer for Ole Miss. Bummer for Lane Kiffin doesn't get that $750,000. So I'm getting the national
championship. Bummer for the SEC, who's having a pretty rough postseason.
Look at this guy with a smile on his face over here. Bummer for the SEC. Oh, shoot. You hate to see it.
SEC tears are delicious. They mean more.
Let's jump in and break some of that down, especially because Paul Feinbaum, he's supposed to move out of the country. He is supposed to move out of America now that the SEC did not have a team in the national championship game again.
He should consider Denmark.
Greenland. Send him up to Greenland.
He's safe there.
Come on. Let's jump in here. Top of the program. It's The Cut. Let's do it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And, of course, this portion of the program brought to you by JJ and Alex. All right, here's the deal. JJ, I wanted to go down that rabbit hole a little bit. The SEC, we were talking about it in our pre-show text back and forth. It was like, the SEC has another year without an appearance even in the national championship game. Not winning the national championship. Not going to the national championship game. When teams like Miami and Indiana could be the new face of what college football looks like. I mean, even Oregon going to the national championship game and winning that thing, it would be their first natty ever.
Correct.
And so I like to see it. I like to see teams getting into this thing. The thing I want with the Indiana game, and I think they're going to do it, I think they're the best team in college football, to have a team that has the biggest turnaround in sports history that you and I have ever seen in our lifetime. Do you know anything different?
No.
Do you know anything like what we've seen in Indiana? To go from maybe the biggest laughingstock, it would be the equivalent of what in the Big 12, or what in the?
It'd be like
Oklahoma State
12?
Oklahoma State in 2 years.
Like Houston.
Houston, great example. Houston going to the national championship game in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And them going, Willie Fritz, what did you do, man? I win. Google me, right?
I'm just kind of weird, man.
I
figured some things out.
And Kurt Signetti is weird. You can give that to him. And I sent you that article about Kirby Smart and how the Falcons, I don't know if it's true or not. Who knows? But the Falcons are on the hunt for a new coach. Would they stay in the state of Georgia with one of the most important coaches in the history of Georgia football? And Kirby Smart, by the way, who's making about $13 million a year as the head coach at Georgia.
Why would you want to leave to join the Falcons?
Well, the reason is because it's actually a bigger mess to coach those guys than it is to coach NFLers. What was the big diss before? It was like, oh, man, you get these professional athletes, they're hard to deal with. You get these kids that are raw in college, and they're a joy to be around. Now it's like, oh, those jerks. The jerks are 18 years old instead of being 24. And so would Kirby Smart be interested? If Kirby Smart left Georgia, that'd be another team I think you'd have to wait for a long time before they got good again. And the SEC already has an image problem because, what was the record you told me that they were? Give me some things that I like to just like go to bed tonight and think about how the SEC is not relevant anymore.
Oh, I got one.
Let me hear it.
The SEC was 1-8 against other Power 4 teams in bowl games. Texas over Michigan was their only win against a P4 team.
Oh, hate to see it.
Of course, they in the playoff, Ole Miss beat Tulane.
Oh, good for them.
Alabama beat Oklahoma in the playoff, right? But bowl games, including the playoff bowl games, 1-8.
Wow.
That's not good.
No, it is not.
And for a conference that bragged about their bowl record for a long, long time, that's not good. And you combine that with the fact we now have 3 straight years without an SEC team in winning a national championship. It's a new era.
I love it.
When you consider that from 2006 to 2022, 16 of 17 title games featured an SEC team. And there were 7 straight from 2006 to 2012. So this is the longest absence of a SEC team in the championship game since 2002.
Oh,
there's been a changing of the guard. You can't deny it. If you're the SEC, this is not a one-off. This is 3 straight years. And the only team that got to the semifinals is Ole Miss. No Georgia or Alabama in the semifinals.
Right.
No LSU. No Tennessee. This is different. And I think the SEC has to start looking at this and saying, man, we're not what we used to be. And you know what changed the game? NIL and this new world we live in, the transfer portal. You don't have to go to an SEC team to win a national championship anymore,
right.
And kids know it. You don't have to go to an SEC team to get paid.
Well,
you can get paid legally at any school in the country that's willing to pay you. We all know what happened in the past.
So 2 years ago, the national championship game featured Kalen DeBoer, but he was coaching Washington.
Correct.
And Jim Harbaugh, and they ran away with that thing. Beat Washington pretty handily in that one. Last year, in the matchup between two teams, you've got the independent Notre Dame and Big Ten Ohio State. And then this year, you're going to have some mix of not an SEC team. 3 years in a row that not even in a national championship game.
Yeah.
That's wild. And it's also strange to me that we will – I want everybody to not do just the automatic reset that we do in the offseason, which is, man, the SEC just means more. It's just great football. Oh, Greg Sankey, man, you guys are so hard to deal with but you guys are on top, and so we've got to just bend to whatever your will is. Don't do it. Why would you allow them to have 5 teams in the college football playoff as their automatic? Like, well, give us 4 automatic. And by the way, you don't give anybody else 4 automatic. Us in the Big Ten, maybe. And then after that, why do you deserve it? Why do you deserve it? You had 5 teams in the college football playoff this year, and you couldn't even get to the Final 4.
Ole Miss is the only one of the bunch that made the playoff that beat a non-SEC team. And it was Tulane.
One gets to the Final 4, and then they lose. And they're not going to the Natty. And by the way, they don't want to hang their hat on Ole Miss, right?
No.
Especially an Ole Miss that doesn't have Lane Kiffin.
No.
They want your LSUs and your Georgias and your Alabamas. Maybe they sneak in an Oklahoma or a Texas because those brands are what they are. They don't want Ole Miss to be the representative of their conference. And like I said, with a interim, or not even an interim, but been a coach for 5 minutes, yuck. Ugh. It's like, no, man. You guys don't deserve to get the respect that you do. Don't let the SEC and the ACC, or don't let the SEC and the Big Ten be the only ones with a voice in the room. You can't do it because they don't deserve it. So when they say, well, we know about college football championships, yeah, you do. But right now, they're kind of losing. What this indicates, why is it that they're not in the national championship games these last 3 years? An SEC team. Why are they not in it?
Because the playing field has been leveled.
It's 100% right. So guess what? They're not doing the money game very well. They rested on their laurels.
That was never their
for a
thing.
minute.
I mean, they had enough car dealerships and wherever to be able to come up with a bag for somebody under the table. But they didn't have to come up with 7-figure salaries for players. They don't have these. Alabama can't do it. Georgia can't do it.
You've got smarter people at smaller universities who are doing it better than you are.
Yeah.
They're recruiting better than you are. They're finding better talent better than you are. They're paying guys better than you are.
They're hiring better coaches.
So why would you deserve to be in what the new version of college football is? If you can't do those things, which is, by the way, the new version of college football. So I don't know what we have to do. When everything comes around, when Greg Sankey is in a headline, I want you to dismiss what he says. I want you to go, nah, I don't really care what he says. Give me some of these. I mean, look, Notre Dame doesn't win national championships like ever. The last time they won was almost 40 years ago. And even those guys were in the national championship game last year.
1988.
Those guys were even in the national championship game last year. So don't give me this whole thing about the SEC just means more. Obviously not, because they have all that money, by the way. They have all the money. They have all the support. They have all the alumni base. They have the big brands, and they still can't get teams there. So recalibrate who the best teams and who the best conferences are. I'm not trying to argue that the Big 12 – look, the Big 12's got some freaking work to do, man. But what they do, they had some teams who are willing to fork out the cash to be on the same level as a couple of teams where they didn't have any business being, right? Now, instead, the expectation with the Big 12 or with the SEC is so high that when they don't get it, you got to punish them. They say, okay, what are we doing here? Why is it that Miami, who is the 10 seed in the college football playoff, by the way, and a team that everybody said, the number one team that people said didn't deserve to be there, aside from the other G5s, but at least they earned their way in, the at-large bid that no one wanted in there was Miami. And here we are with Miami being the first one to get a bid into the national championship game. So the bracket works. The playoff system works. It's awesome. But I'll tell you what's not happening. We're not getting a real clear view. And Ohio State, you're kind of in the same camp. I'm not getting a clear view of whether or not you're good or not. I don't know. Your schedule doesn't help me understand it. By the way, 22 guys have left Ohio State over the past since January 2nd. That's 1 week.
Yeah, Utah signed one of them.
There are 8 days left in the transfer portal window being open. You're seeing a little bit of an exodus out of a program that is supposed to be the best that ever did it, at least for right now, right?
Yeah.
So Ohio State. I just think it's the two teams playing last night. If it was Ole Miss, I would have said the same thing. I'd be like, Ole Miss, the SEC doesn't even want those guys to be their reps. They'll pretend. They'll back into that. But the Lane Kiffin thing right now, they want to avoid totally. And it feels weird that they're getting there and that they got as far as they did. So I love it. The game last night was fun to watch. I hope that the Big Ten delivers with Oregon and Indiana tonight, and we see one that goes also to like an overtime or a last-minute something. You get to see the Heisman Trophy winner in this game. This has all the makings of being historic. And
just pretend Indiana's jerseys say Alabama on them, and you'll enjoy it a lot more.
Paul Feinbaum, he has AI. Just replace it. As they're running down the field, it like kind of glitches, but it's like a different color maroon. It just says Alabama on it.
Well, Curt Cignetti was an Alabama assistant at some time.
And that's why he learned what he did. Is he learned from Coach Saban.
It was basically Alabama North there.
Gosh.
Got to take credit for that. Just means more.
Come on, man. So I just love that this one was a good game. I loved that it was fun to watch. And I love that everybody now in the SEC has to look around and go, what are we doing? Get old Burn out of here. Get Kalen DeBoer out of here.
Somebody needs to win the lottery is what you're saying.
No, get old Burn.
Get some buyouts.
And old Burn, I'd get his butt out
it's
of here.
It's all Kalen DeBoer's fault.
So that's what I want is just everybody to realize when it comes back around again, because they're going to have the conversation. They've punted. This is great for us that are on the outside looking in. I say us, like the media guys who are in a place where you go, this thing's like big teams, Big 12 teams are on the outside looking in. This is great as we watch it because they punted the decisions on college football playoff stuff till post the college football playoff. And the SEC got decidedly weaker. I hope they treat them like that and go, oh, sorry, we're having a conversation over here about teams who actually got into the national championship game. Sorry, what were you saying, Greg? Greg Stanky? Come on.
The odds of having 5 SEC teams in a 12-team field and none of them making the playoff and only one of them making the semifinal are crazy not good.
That's a lot of effort. That's a lot of effort.
You really
to get there.
have to be disappointing to not have somebody break through. This was all set up for you to do that, and your teams couldn't deliver. For the second year in a row, Georgia could not win a quarterfinal after getting a bye. 2 years in a row. And that team seems flawed, and that team's barely getting through their weak schedule. They're not playing anybody. So, yeah, the conference is getting exposed. And now they got to go to a 9-team conference schedule. I think it's great. It's going to force them to have to do some things that are going to it's going to make them better in one sense, but in the other sense, it's going to really expose some of the things that they kind of tried to keep under the table with that conference and things that they did artificially to prop themselves up and make themselves look good. So much of the SEC, I guess you can call it, I don't know, bluster it's artificial. It's artificial.
Certainly this year it falls on deaf ears. I hope it does. You know, I'm sure they'll walk into their meetings and I told you, my niece goes to Georgia, right? And my brother and his family are very proud of it. and she won the lottery the last 2 years. Not the one to buy out coaches, but to get tickets the last 2 seasons as a student to get in the student section. And that was like, that's a dream, right? You get to live the dream. And when I see pictures of them at these games, and instead of having on, everybody's wearing dog stuff, right? Everybody's wearing Georgia stuff. But every once in a while, you still see the person with that SEC gray sweatshirt that just says SEC on it. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Don't do this. Don't be that.
If you're cheering
conference.
for a conference, you're a weirdo.
I know. All right. Let me see here. Indiana, Oregon. Both of them have, Oregon, here's the thing about Oregon. If they win tonight, it's a win-win for me because Indiana's a great story. And if Oregon wins tonight, they're another step closer to, frankly, if you would ask somebody how many national championships Oregon football has who doesn't know any better, they'd go, 2 or 3. Did Mariota win one? You think about all these. Well, didn't Bo Nix probably take them pretty far? Like, that's a team that feels like they should have already won a national championship, and they've just been this close, and they keep not getting there.
Oh, you must be young because you forget the old days when I was little.
Oh, no. I'm a Washington Husky fan. We went decades of futility of those guys, happy that the Ducks were crap. You know what I mean? But the rise of Oregon Nike and all that, all the things that came with it. I don't think there's been a program that people have talked about more outside of an SEC program than Oregon over the past 20 years. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Outside of those big programs, you have Oregon, who's like a de facto blue blood without winning any national championships. So I love that story. I love the Indiana story. That one to me is even more. That's a cool deal. And look, people have been making fun of Mendoza this week, and because he's kind of a Boy Scout, heart on his sleeve kind of guy. Seems like he'd put a BYU helmet on and he would fit, right? And people are making fun of him because he's just kind of this clean-cut dude, and he's got a big old smile on his face, sounds naive, and that guy is a total hero to so many people out there. You know why? He's not the jerk. He's not the dirtbag. These days, I don't know who you hang your hat on. So the Mendoza story is awesome. Cignetti's a weirdo. Speaking of guys who are cocky, by the way, his coach makes up for all of it after that. So Indiana winning tonight, great. If Oregon wins tonight, I like that too because I like Dan Lanning, and I don't hate Oregon. Man, I used to, but I don't hate Oregon. I don't hate the idea of them going on to win. And if they could lose to Indiana at home earlier in the season, like they did, and then come back and win this one for some vindication, that'd be a pretty cool story too.
Yeah, it would. It's a fascinating matchup tonight. Because it is a new world in college football. Indiana being on this stage, this relevant. Oregon making the move to the Big Ten and taking things to the next level. Dan Lanning's an interesting coach. Cignetti's an interesting coach. Both these teams have really good players. I mean, Dante Moore might be the top-ranked, might end up being the highest-drafted quarterback coming up. I know not a lot of people saw that coming, but the year he's had and the way he's played, you might be watching 2 first-round NFL quarterbacks coming up in the draft. So there's a lot of reasons to watch tonight. It's a compelling matchup. The first time around, Indiana going to Autzen and beating Oregon was crazy. That's when that's when I started taking Indiana seriously.
Oh, yeah.
That was the game. And now Oregon, I think, has played much better football since that. Outside of that, was it the Penn State game? Which game was it? I don't remember. They have really turned a corner, it feels like. And the way they absolutely crushed Texas Tech, we all watched Texas Tech with our own eyes.
Yep.
I was like, I think that team's going to make it to the national championship game. I thought they were going to beat Oregon. I was wrong. Oregon absolutely crushed them. Defensively is where Oregon really impressed me in that game. Now, I know Texas Tech had their issues, and Barron Morton may have been a fraudulent quarterback. But Oregon absolutely dominated a team that I thought could win the national championship. Dominated them 23-0. And, you saw what Indiana did to Alabama. 38-3. I think the best team in the country will emerge tonight. The true national champion will emerge tonight based on this result. I think these are the 2 best teams in the country, and I expect the quality of play tonight to reflect that.
All right. Let's take a break. We got a great football game on tonight. Is that another 5:30 kick, by the way?
Yes.
Nice.
Same time, same channel.
So we're looking forward to that. We've also got in front of us, The Jazz snapped that 5-game win streak. They do it against a Dallas Mavericks team that has looked feisty and has had some fight. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Big T. Thurl Bagley is going to join us on a Friday edition of the program. And we're going to talk about the Utah Mammoth as well. Stop whistling at the games.
What's that about?
I have no clue, actually.
Soccer culture.
The European whistlers have showed up. Is that what you're saying?
Why is that happening over there? Like, this is totally. Cole needs to explain this to me. This is totally foreign to me. I don't get it.
Napolis knows too. Like the whistles are. I mean, you might as well flip a guy off. The whistles are the booze. The whistles in the European soccer culture.
Game?
I don't really know, but I do think it's funny that the players are like, "Can I have a quick talk with you, fans?
Jeez,
stop whistling Dixie over here. We're trying to play hockey."
We can't officially become a hockey town until we stop this dang whistling.
I put it on there, the list of things that we've had to learn what to do and what to not do as like a hockey fan base. Hey, don't whistle. Don't stand up during play. Wait till the puck's dead, and then you get up and go get your churro. All right? All those things as well. So we got tons to do. Let's get into this Damon Williams stuff out of Washington. He avoided disaster. College football avoided disaster. I am fascinated by this whole thing. And good for the Huskies for calling his bluff, man. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. More to go. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Happy Friday to you. Thanks for being with us. College football is an absolute disaster to try to wrap your brain around how it's governed. I mean, my heavens. I look at the GMs and I'm like, tell me what it is exactly that you do here. Was that line out of Office Space?
Yep.
Go ahead and tell me it is what you do here. All right? I'm a people person, dang it. Like, I'm trying to justify what you are. I mean, I know they're big. I know they're important. But I know that all these agents and these coaches and all just the mess that surrounds all this thing. Damon Williams, a week ago, had signed a new deal with the University of Washington that we're finding out now featured, what was it? Looks like $4 million. $4 million of revenue sharing. And by the way, the entire athletic department gets $20 million, not just the football team.
Yeah.
$20 million of rev share dollars go to each program. They have to determine whether or not they or how they're going to use that money. And in Washington's case, they've decided that a $4 million investment in Damon Williams is going to be the way to do that. That's not a bad investment because he's a really, really good quarterback. How do you know? Because when he hit the transfer portal after making that contract signing and commitment, and he did it while at the funeral of a former University of Washington goalkeeper who tragically passed away from an aggressive form of cancer this year. The entire school is reeling out of all in this moment. The athletic department reeling, and he sends this thing out during the funeral. Everyone's going, "What's going on with this dude?" And then it turned a huge story. As the rest of the week, we're all looking and going, "How are they going to handle this?" This guy signed a contract. Washington said, "We're following all the legal recourse to be able to make sure that this kid can't just walk away and our financial commitment just goes out the window immediately." Well, after the Wasserman Group, which was his agency this week, dropped Damon Williams also dropped the entire thing and just said, "I'm going to go back to Washington. Okay, you got me." And what could have been a precedent-setting court case is now just everybody knowing that they didn't want to they didn't want this beast to arrive at the courthouse. And all is well. Everything's restored again, JJ. Everything's back to normal, and
wow.
Husky fans are excited to have Damon Williams back.
Oh, and I can't wait. And he's going to be in a great place come spring football. How is he going to work with just $4 million? How is he supposed to be able to go out there and perform?
What was the other number he was getting? What was the other number? Like, what was potentially LSU?
I would love to know who got in his ear and told him to jump in the portal to use it as a negotiating tactic to get more money.
Yeah, so what we're finding out is that the way that this would have had to have worked, and not a lot got worked out with the settlement with college football, but this did. some of the legalese on this did get worked out. The $4 million that was committed to him that he had signed the contract on, DeMond Williams wasn't going to have to pay it himself back to the University of Washington. The new institution that he was going to be going to would be on the hook to reimburse the University of Washington that $4 million. And then that university in turn, which could have been LSU, we don't necessarily know, would have to eat that $4 million, essentially like a...
It's like a cap hit.
It'd be a cap hit.
In the NFL.
It's exactly right. And they would have to be operating on a $16 million budget versus $20 million as a rev-sharing model as a penalty for them making this thing happen. So in the end, the institution that was having him come in, they decided that doesn't look good enough. Nah, this doesn't look good. I don't like it. We don't like it. The agency that he was being represented by was like, we're out. And the University of Washington was like, we're out, and we're going to come after you legally. And now he's back at his old school, and Jedd Fisch has got a quarterback again. And DeMond Williams is going to get $4 million. Back to the old contract. Boo-hoo. I guess I'll just take my $4 million and play next year.
Nobody's going to be under more pressure next season than DeMond Williams Jr.
I can't wait.
Perform.
I can't wait.
You better back it up, bud.
Oh, that Oregon game's going to be fun, isn't it?
Oh, man.
Get the signs out at that game.
I mean, Washington's kind of mid anyway.
Well,
I don't expect them to take this huge turn.
The only thing that has kept them semi-competitive is the quarterback play from him. Like, he's a legitimately good quarterback.
Yeah.
And they won 9 games this year when Vegas had him winning 5. And they blew out Boise State in the checks notes. What bowl was it?
The LA Bowl. That
the Los
has
Angeles
ceased
Bowl
to exist.
Yeah, we hardly knew ye.
The Washington Huskies will be forever LA Bowl champions.
Who was it? The Snoop? No, Snoop has his own bowl now. Is it the Kimmel LA Bowl? What was it? Oh no, it was the Bucked Up LA Bowl, wasn't it? Yeah. All right, well, some local money here. Bring it back, Bucked Up. Let's keep it here at home. So in the end, I think we got the best result possible, which was everybody was sufficiently scared enough by at least some verbiage in the rev sharing and in the settlement judgments that gave us this moment where this kid goes, I should probably reconsider. I got to pull the parachute on this thing. I got to get out. I got to get this thing going. And he's going to be back at Washington for good or bad for both sides. LSU's not going to have to pay him out and pay Washington out, plus take the cap hit. And UW gets a quarterback, one of the better in the country. So now Washington is doing what they should do, which is, hey, water under the bridge. We welcome you with open arms because they need a guy to throw the freaking football without being harassed next year. Now, the fans, that's going to take a little bit longer to figure out. But I love this stuff, man.
This is all new for college football. It's crazy. This doesn't even feel like it happens in the NFL. And then, of course, you got the Brendan Sorsby situation. And I found this interesting when you brought it up today.
Tell me what's up.
So he's transferring to Texas Tech. Apparently, that triggers a $1 million buyout in his NIL deal with Cincinnati because that's a multi-year deal he signed. He owes them money.
So is Texas Tech going to pay him out? Is Texas Tech going to pay that money? Due in 30 days? Boy, this is...
oh, boy.
The IRS is like, settle down.
So imagine being Sorsby, who's, 22 years old?
And you have $1 million bill that hits your bank account?
You got to come up with 7 figures in 30 days. Sounds like a plot for a movie.
Do you think he called Uncle Cody? Hey, I know we haven't met yet, but could I borrow $1 million?
Sorsby's pretty desperate. Hopefully he doesn't turn to the cartel for help.
I know.
Hopefully he doesn't turn into one of those deals.
Cody Campbell's all, I can't help you out, man. He goes, okay, I got to make a 7-hour drive south.
The cartel wants their money, Brendan.
Oh, my gosh.
You got 30 days.
Well, in the end, you're going to have a real problem because I don't know what deal they've worked out. And I know that Texas Tech has deep pockets, but why would Texas Tech want to pay out a school this same scenario where we just talked about with DeMond Williams Jr.?
Is this kid even worth it?
That's exactly what I was wondering. Like, I mean, if Brendan Sorsby, okay, think about Rocco Beck, okay? Not Rocco Beck, what's his name? Who's the quarterback that played for Texas Tech who was garbage in the bowl game?
Baron Morton.
To me, Baron Morton and Brendan Sorsby are interchangeably the same person. Like
Brennan's more athletic and is dual threat. But you watched, if you're a college football fan, you're either Utah or BYU or both, you watched Brendan Sorsby play 2 games this year, and you watched those defenses for Utah and BYU.
They figured him out.
Make him look average.
Yeah, and I don't think and again, remember when Will Howard left Kansas State and went to Ohio State? Maybe it's going to be a national championship in the making. But we didn't think much of his. We were like, that guy's not that great
Mendoza
either.
took a big leap going from Cal to Indiana, but we watched him. At Cal, he was good. He was the thing that kept Cal going. I mean, he stood out from the second he started playing for Cal.
So the $1 million.
And Sorsby, don't get me wrong, Sorsby's a good player, but is he worth all this?
So
$3.5 million and a $1 million buyout?
So DeMont Williams was the 4th best QBR, the 6th best touchdowns thrown this year, and the 8th best yardage thrown by a quarterback in the Big Ten. And he garners $10 million. That's what. Okay, what is the top quarterback? If Mendoza had an extra year, and he goes, I'm gonna put my name in the transfer portal, what would he be worth? What would he be worth? Now, he's smart enough to know I actually am probably good because of where I'm at. Like, I'm not going to go to some place just because $6 million comes my way, which I think that would be a number. We've seen guys offered more who aren't even good.
I'm sure that's probably in that range.
We've seen guys who get that money who aren't even good. What's funny is think about the beginning of all of this. Who was the cat? Jaden Rashada. Remember him?
Yeah. Where is
the
he?
disaster went on with all that situation and how crazy it was and how it went down. And we were all like, $3 million for 4 years? Holy cow. And now we're looking at them. We're going, guys, light work. Yeah, that's backup money. Perfect. Yeah, we'll pay him. Why not?
How'd things go for him at Sac State?
I was going to say, what team?
Guess what? Jaden
number?
Rashada
What?
is in the transfer portal.
What?
Yeah.
So
Going for his 4th team in 4 years.
So did he do some time at UTEP? It is time. That's hard time.
No,
served,
that's a
by the
different
way.
guy.
Oh, that's
Nelson.
That's Malachi Nelson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you're
the
right.
Boise State quarterback.
But it was Miami, and he didn't go to Miami. Who is? Oh, yeah, Malachi Nelson, for sure.
You can't wait to get out of El
But
Paso.
I think if you hit the transfer portal and you were a 5-star guy, you have to lose a star every time you do it. Can we come up with that? He hit the transfer portal, but it costs him another star. He's back to being a 2-star quarterback.
Yeah,
right.
Committed to Miami, ended up at Arizona State,
Right.
Georgia, Florida.
Oh,
So Miami, Florida, never played for either of those.
Yeah,
Ends up get Arizona State, then Georgia, then Sac State, and now he's looking for another home.
Man, people are so desperate.
He played
they'll take
6
it.
games at Sac State and started 2.
He's going to go the reverse Cam Ward. He's going to go over to Incarnate Word. Sign with Incarnate Word.
He's played 4 games in 3 years.
See, this is exactly why coaches would be getting wet feet on giving any money to any of these kids. It's just an absolute roll of the dice. Okay, we'll take a break, at least on the high school kids. Don't give the high school kids money. You have no idea what you're getting. Okay? Let a guy play a couple of years, then figure it out. We will come back. We have a Friday edition of Would You Rather right around the corner. Don't want to miss it. Plus much more. We have Thurl Bagley, top of the hour, 4 o'clock, talking Utah Jazz. Jazz snap a 5-game win streak over the Dallas Mavericks to get the win at home last night. Usual suspects showing up in a big way. Stay here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, everybody, welcome back. Hey, guess what? Next Wednesday is a big Win Ticket Wednesday, like every Wednesday is on this station. You can win big with the KSL Sports Zone. JJ, you ready for the reveal?
Yeah.
Ski Joring Utah returns to Heber City. Am I saying that right? January 16th.
Ski-joring?
Ski Joring? I ski and I don't. Oh, yeah. So proskijor.com is where you can get tickets, or you can win them next week. That's all in Heber City. Go check it out for yourself. Proskijor.com. And Ski Joring is where you can win some tickets next week. By the way, anything winter-related, like activities related in Heber City, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome thing to go see.
Because you're
this
in
time.
Heber City, and it's amazing.
Well, yeah, and this time of year is particularly beautiful. So it's the reason why it's a world-class cross-country skiing, all that. So, all right. JJ, the classic Would You Rather. Tonight, Oregon, Indiana. Which story floats your boat? Which one as a TV guy? Because you just want the stuff that's going to be the most promo ready.
The most compelling narrative.
Come on.
Right?
You're the TV guy.
Who's the best story?
Give me the promo.
It's Indiana by a mile.
Is it?
Mendoza,
but is that the one you want to see, though?
Signetti,
Yeah,
the
okay.
rise of Indiana football that was bad forever. Oregon is Oregon. Oregon's been a juggernaut for a while. There's nothing special about Oregon.
Oregon might be back there in 7 years, and you just never know about Indiana.
Yeah. I don't know if Indiana's for long term. I have no idea. But they're right now. Oregon's always been around and always will be as long as they got Nike money. So it's Indiana. It's not even close.
So Indiana, Miami, knowing what that one looks like, Miami's not going to be favored at all in that one, by the way. They were last night. They were favored against Ole Miss all week.
It's kind of an interesting storyline because Mendoza's Cuban American.
So is
and a lot of
Cristobal.
people in Miami.
Cristobal's family, they came
Of
from
course.
Cuba.
Well, but he's of course he's
but
played in Miami.
Miami is the
There's a
hotbed,
lot of
yes.
people in South Florida who are seeing Mendoza, and they're going to be a little conflicted because they're kind of enjoying this Mendoza run. But do they want Mendoza to win a national championship, or do they want Miami to? So it's going to be a little bit of a conflict in South Florida. But I love the story. And an Indiana-Miami national championship game, I think, would be good for the sport.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I would prefer to see the Indiana story because it's so wild. And if it's next year and they're back in this spot again, I'd go, give it to Oregon, man. Come on. Indiana won the Natty last year. The rematch between Signetti and Lanning, which, by the way, who knows if either of those guys would be coaching at their schools, even though they're all signed up for long-term contracts. Who cares? All these coaches who are like, we got to keep these kids accountable. It's a freaking joke, man. We got to keep these kids accountable. And then they leave during the offseason. I mean, Kurt Signetti could go to the NFL at any moment. I'm convinced he probably will because that's a guy who likes to see himself on the big marquees. And the way you do it is you go to the NFL. All the big names who've had quick rises in the coaching world in college have tried their hand. And then they're the ones who say, it's going to be me who does it. It took Pete Carroll's second time around to finally figure it out. How did third time around go, by the way? Not very good?
Not great.
No?
So, real quick, I want to bring something up. Indiana is such an improbable story because their football team was so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Basketball school. Indiana's basketball tradition is almost untouched in the NCAA. Maybe North Carolina, Duke, UCLA can challenge their dominance. Maybe Kansas, but Indiana has been incredible. Who is the NCAA basketball equivalent of Indiana?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me see here.
I've got one that's developing right now.
Developing. The basketball version. Houston. Maybe
yeah,
Houston.
But Houston was always a basketball school because of Elijah Wan and Drexler.
Let me see.
I have three suggestions.
Okay, let's hear it.
Baylor came from nowhere and won a national championship.
For sure.
Auburn. Outside of Charles Barkley, did you ever think of Auburn basketball for any reason?
I don't like Bruce Pearl at all, but
And he's gone. So
no, but I'm just saying
they
show up
became
with
a
guys,
Final
yes.
Four team.
Yeah.
There's one emerging right now. It's Nebraska. Nebraska hoops has always been putrid, not just
that's true.
average,
That's
but
true.
bad. And they're top 10 now.
That is,
They're undefeated.
that's a
At
better.
least they were last I checked.
That's a better comp because of how stark the football program.
That's kind of what I was looking
vibe
for.
is.
In my brain, I was
Yeah.
thinking, what's the Indiana equivalent in the NCAA in NCAA hoops right now? And that's what I came up with.
I mean, you
was
ask Nebraska fans, they're like, oh no, our women's volleyball team we like more than our basketball
Oh
team.
yeah, 100%. But Nebraska's 15-0 and ranked 10th in the country.
Sheesh. Who's their coach? Who's Nebraska's coach?
Fred Hoiberg.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that guy shows up and wins wherever he goes, too.
Yeah.
Come on. All right, let me see here. We'll take a break. Thurl Bailey, Big T, going to join us next. The late run for the Jazz ends up giving them the W over the Dallas Mavericks last night. And again, consistency reigns with these guys. There are some guys who play night in and night out that you can set your watch by a little bit. But then there are the young guys you like to see getting going. We'll talk with Big T and see his vibe on how this team's doing right now and where they stand for the rest of this week as well, or rest of next week. Stay here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
What time is it?
Your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Keontae down the lane, flag cuts him off. Keontae levitates, hangs, banks it off the window and in. Beautiful for Keontae George. Williams drives, passes to Lowry, right corner three. Death, taxes, and Lowry from the corner guarantees in life. Jazz on a 9-0 run with 1:45 to play. Sensabaugh, deep three from the top, and he hit. Sensational Sensabaugh for three. Keontae retreats out, 10 on the clock. Driving, fading off his left foot and tickling the twine. Keontae George with a marvelous one-on-one move. Spins Cooper Flag around and fades back off the left foot and puts the Jazz up by 5 with 28 seconds to play.
You're locked into JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. Thanks for being with us on the program, everybody. Happy Friday. We hope your commute got started early. We hope that you're staying safe out there. I always love that on a Friday when you see more people on the road at like a 3 or 3:30 and you go, yeah, man, get out of the office. Get out of here quick, man. Let's get this thing going. So, yeah, Jazz Daily, of course, on the program here with you. We are grinding along here, getting you ready for some hot Jazz talk here with Big T Thurl Bagley. In the meantime, let's kick things off as we always do with the cut. We'll jump in right here. Let's do it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, so as we get ready and going here, JJ, your thoughts before we get Big T's thoughts on this matchup, because the Jazz kind of doing the thing that they'd done the first time around with the Mavericks, which was they were just a little bit behind for a lot of this contest, and then they eke their way back little by little, and it was the usual suspects. Like I said, it wasn't just, and you heard David Locke's call there, setting your watch by the corner threes by Lowry. We already know that's a 42+% bet with that guy. But Keontae George has become a massive part of what this team is relying on every night. On a team where I think people look and they go, well, they can't rely on anybody. Will Hardy has a lot more to rely on than I think we give him credit for, this young team credit for.
Yeah, Keontae didn't need to score 30 last night for them to win. Only took 12 shots, 7 assists. Lowry had a hot hand, and so they rode Lowry, and it worked out. Walt Clayton, 4 of 10 from 3. 4 of 10 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3.
Nice.
So Walt Clayton had a nice game with 12 points coming off the bench. There's a lot to like about the way the Jazz played last night. Bryce Sensabaugh has really, really made a jump recently. You're seeing him taking the ball to the hoop with authority. You're seeing him hit more shots. So it's funny. You can sometimes get your game going, and Thurl would tell you this, by getting to the rim and getting easy shots. Jerry Sloan used to talk about that all the time. And it's funny how you've seen Bryce be more aggressive getting to the hoop, and now it seems like that's helping his overall game and making him a better shooter from deep. So great performance last night for the Jazz. And that's, you look at the records, and the Jazz are 13-24, Dallas is 14-24. This is an even matchup, and the Jazz have played the Mavericks twice at home and won.
Bryce Sensabaugh has been a name of the last couple of games we've been talking about. He got the start again last night. Cody Williams got his first start of the season in 22 minutes. He's been getting a little bit better as we go along here. It's a story about watching guys get better this year. Big T Thurl Bagley joining us, of course. He is the television analyst for the Jazz Broadcast Network on the TV side of things. Big T, thanks for being with us, man. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. How you guys doing?
Phenomenal.
Doing well.
You get to watch this team day in and day out, and we've watched these guys progress quite a bit. The Keontae George revelation this year, and it's like every year we wait. Last year it was like, man, the third year from Walker Kessler's been a revelation. And we got that this year with Keontae George. What do you like with his game, and how has he become so consistent in just this first half of the season? It looks like you can get the same guy every night now.
Yeah, well, that doesn't happen on its own, as you guys well know. You got to put some work in, and you've got to put a lot of work in, especially on the basketball side. And there's no question that Keontae did that. Now, there's got to be things that prompt you to want to be better, to want to be one of the best in your field. And that process, I think, for Keontae, and he talks about it very openly, it came after last year's season that I think, well, I know was really a disappointment to him. And it kind of showed in his attitude. He talks about, and Will talks about, some of the conversations they had and what it would take for Keontae to take that next leap. And obviously Keontae was listening. So he put the work in, man. He put the work into his game and the mental aspect that I think he knew he needed to figure out. Because a lot of these kids, when they come in young, right, they're everything to their ball clubs in AAU, in college. And you get to this level, and it takes a whole different mindset. Mm-hmm. And if you're willing to find that clarity and understand what it takes to be a pro in all sorts of ways, Keontae's proven that he put that time in, both physically and also psychologically.
So, Big T, can you explain to people what it means when we see guys like this, that when they get locked in, and when you mentioned being a pro, maturity. When you talk about players making that leap, what does that entail specifically? How do guys get there? What are the things they have to do on and off the court to achieve that? Because you've seen Keontae make that jump, and you just talked a little bit about that. But what are things guys have to do professionally on and off the court to achieve that?
Well, I think some of it's different for each individual player and how they approach the game and what they want out of it, right? I mean, because if you're coming in look, it's a different era. It's a young players league now. It's a developmental league. And so when you come in at 19, 20 years old, there's so much more to that than it used to be back in the day when you spent 3 or 4 years in college, and you kind of got some of that education and that development there. But now it's totally different. So I think if I had to nutshell it, it really is figuring out, based on where you are, what you're going to need to do to take that next step. You come in the league and you're guarding and you're playing against guys that, you worshiped as a kid, right? How do I get there? How do I get to be talked about like them and in that basketball sense? And there's no substitute for putting the time in during the off season. And it's about who you're around, who has your back, who's on the same page with your goals, and how much time you're going to put into it. Because there's so many distractions, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, when you have a player like Keontae who comes into this season and you see some things that are different, but you only have a small sample, and you're going to wait maybe 10, 15, 20 games, and you say, man, this is for real. This guy's for real. Look at his face. Look at how he approaches the game. That's when you know that there were a lot of sacrifices made to get to that point.
Thurl, when you see this group of young guys, and I think that everybody from year to year, last year it was like, you can see the win-loss difference. This team has more wins at this point this year than the team last year did. But it seems like there's so much more that has progressed with this team. I like so many of these young guys on here. How is it guys like Walt Clayton come in and they can just find a vibe kind of immediately? He's become such a reliable guy also off the bench, making threes. What does Walt Clayton Jr., for example, bring to this team? What have you liked in his game?
He brings more rookie experience, right? I mean, he stayed in college for the duration, and you can see that maturity when he arrives here. He is not your typical young rookie. Now, there's still steps that he has to take to figure out the game at this level, which I think we've all seen him kind of make those rookie mistakes and then correct them on the fly. He also has to have really good teachers around him that can communicate with him and let them know exactly what he needs to do to get minutes. And they're willing to give him a little bit of rope to make those mistakes because they know his potential. And we've seen that. So he's grown up really fast, and so have a few other guys. But you can't grow up that fast without, first going through the gauntlet and making the mistakes and trying to figure things out. And I think the 3-point guard thing for the Jazz has allowed that competitive nature for the Jazz, for these guys to compete against each other. And even though when you look at some of the abilities that each one has, they bring a different type of thing to the game. But I think within this team, they're all useful and they're all starting to shine through. And Walter Clayton Jr. has found that with his confidence.
Based on what you've seen from Ace Bagley so far, what do you think his ceiling is in the NBA?
Oh, he's got a very high ceiling. He really does. And a lot of his will be on the physical side because it is a different level, as far as how many games you play, as far as the practices and just the physicality of your position and what this team wants as part of their identity. He's a freaky athlete. We've seen some of the things that have kind of reared us back and opened our eyes, but that's both sides of the ball, right? He's going to learn how to defend players at this level. And now his body's kind of going through that transition where, oh man, this is a long haul. None of these rookies are used to the long haul of what the season brings. So, getting healthy is important, but I like what he brings on the offensive end. He's going to be put in a lot of situations, and he has been already before his injury, put in situations where he has been the primary or secondary offensive player without a Lowry on the floor, without a Keontae. So he's getting used to all that. He told me that when he first came in here, there was a basketball language that he had to get used to. He didn't know what a veer was. He had to learn all those things. So it's an education as well. But he's patient. And when you can get a high draft pick to be patient, not want it all right now, that's a plus.
Will Hardy's like a veteran, head coach in the league now with all the I feel like he's aged a couple of years extra on top of what he's had to deal with. Just he keeps getting handed young guys, and he keeps just moving forward. The message never changes with Will Hardy, it seems like. What has been something this year that you've seen from him that maybe is different than you've seen in the first few years that he was a coach?
Well, I think he has a better sense this year than last year of the ability to have a team where he can put lineups out there and just go out and play. Win or lose, go out and leave it all out there. I mean, we all know what last year was about. It was, trying to develop young players and trying to position ourselves for, a draft pick. But I think Will feels maybe a little more freedom this year to be able to take what he has, even mixed in with guys. Look, we lost Walker Kessler, which was a big piece in that progress, but we know what Walker brings, and we know that Walker can and will get better. But you bring in some veterans, Kevin Love, who's actually older than Will, Kevin Love or Yusuf Nurkic, who can go in and play their roles as well. But I think Will he's fun to watch. He's fun to watch coach. He knows the game so well. I think that's one advantage of starting where he started in the film room. He can break it down to you. He knows exactly how to teach it to these young players. Yeah, but his schemes are really built not just for one or two guys, but there's multiple options in everything that he does. So he's a great teacher, and it's fun to watch games like last night and the one in OKC because it really is a chess match. And he's been able to show us, kind of like an artist almost. He probably wouldn't call it that, but show us that chess match that he plays to make sure he gets the maximum out of his team.
You mentioned Kevin Love and Yusuf Nurkic, and I think there's a myth out there that you have to have veterans on your team because if you have the wrong veterans, that's not very helpful. But it feels like they've got the right veterans with these guys, and they both unsolicited said a lot of great things about this organization and how fortunate these young players are. How important have those guys been to this whole group and how they fit in?
Well, I think you can always tell when, especially veterans, are saying what they feel like they have to say and what they feel, right? And I know for a fact that Kevin Love and Nurk are having a great time being with this team. They've been around. They've been in all sorts of positions. Kevin Love's won an NBA championship. He's a future Hall of Famer. So he doesn't have to say anything that he doesn't believe. And as I watch him, as we travel with him, he is so engaged. They both are. Nurk is engaged as well. And here's a player, I believe, in Nurkic that was kind of looking for some new life, looking for a place to show that he had more game left. So their connection with Will is strong as well. It's fun to watch that kind of from my distance and see how they communicate and see how they, as veterans, communicate those things to the players. You should see shoot-arounds, especially on the road, where Kevin Love takes the lead or Nurk takes the lead if something's not going right, and they're well respected. One of the things that really has helped is Keontae George's mental aspect of the game. He's been able to lean on Kevin Love for that part. We all know kind of that history, and that's helpful. And you're right; you've got to have the right veterans. And I enjoy watching these guys just be around each other and go out to battle.
We saw that this week, and I think you're 100% right about Nurk. I think on top of that, I think he was the guy that people looked at and went, he might be problematic for rosters. Like he came across as like kind of being a little bit grumpy in the last couple goes with contract.
He was bouncing around, and everyone's wondering why is he bouncing around.
Well, I think he got that a little bit of that. He probably got saddled, unfortunately, with the idea of he's hard to work with, or maybe he's tough. And both of these guys have said, no, these guys don't have any idea how good they have it here. What are they talking about when they said they brought up the front office and everything? But what is it that they're really talking about? Guys who have multiple teams under their belt, and they go, no, you guys, it's different here. You need to enjoy this.
I think they're starting at the top. They're talking about Ryan and Ashley and what they've built here, what they're building, continuing to build here. And you don't know that if you're them, like until you come and you have time to get to know people and talk to people and understand what the process is, the patience it's going to take, what the focus is on, right? You've got a couple of guys who are towards the end of their careers, and they're not looking to go somewhere where, that they're just going to disappear on the bench or just are used for advice. No, I think they feel valued. And I think that's what they're talking about, that from Ryan to Austin to Danny to Jay-Z to Will Hardy, they feel valued. They feel part of something, part of a family look what's happening in this city, in this state, around the Jazz and the Mammoth and everything that's going on. So I think that's what they mean about them being fortunate to be in this place at this time. With this ownership.
Rebuilds are painful and they can be difficult, and it requires patience, and the Jazz are going through that right now. But obviously we're watching this team and the development of Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen playing at an all-star level, and you see Ace Bagley and the talent there that we've already talked about. Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel, Big T? Can you see where this is going? And can Jazz fans be excited about where that's at right now?
Well, I think what you can see is hope, right? You can see progress. And that's really what Jazz Nation, the Jazz organization are hoping for. Look, they have a game plan. They have a timetable. And most times that timetable doesn't necessarily work out exactly how you draw it up. But if you can see progress, if you can see, you really understand what the work that Keontae and the work that Lauri put in and how they're leading this team. And when you come to a game like last night, or you watch a game like OKC, where you have to raise your level of competition against the best there is in the league, you see that progress, you see that hope, and you understand what they're trying to build, because a team like OKC did the same thing. Yeah, you have to be fortunate, you have to have really good players, but it's not about trying to hit a home run right away in this league today. And so if you can get those pieces with whatever dealings you have going and whatever picks you have right now, if you can see progress, that is what that light is. That light is hope. That light is progress. That light is watching a finals with Indiana and OKC saying, you know what, I think we can build something to that effect and get to that point in 2-3 years or whatever your plan is. So yeah, I think everybody can feel it. Everybody can see it and feel it. And they're going to be disappointing nights, because you can't get there without some of those nights that we've had, and there's some to come, right? But you just keep building on the positive and developing these guys and hope to get there sooner than later.
You guys stay at home, and you welcome in the Hornets, who, by the way, have a pretty fun rookie, Conkanipple, who I think is shocking some people, because people are people who saw him shoot in college, they're not shocked. I think that they might be raising their eyebrows a little bit of how quickly he's started to become something really nice for this Hornets team. And speaking of another team who's young, and people say, oh, they're not going to be good for a long, long time, this Hornets team's got a lot of fight in them, a lot of young guys who are earning their keep as well. What do you see in this Charlotte game that's going on tomorrow night at Delta Center?
Well, we see a lot of that in the league now, right? Teams that have decided to start to build that way from youth. And, Conkanipple, he's going to be a great player in this league. The problem sometimes with the Jazz is when players come and play against us, they look too good. I know the Jazz beat Dallas the first time that they came here, but Cooper Flagg had 42 points and 20 free throws. But I think, look, that's kind of the recipe right now we're starting to see amongst the league, even with Charlotte, trying to get the right pieces and trying to highlight the right guys to run their teams. And so it'll be another good game before we get back on the road, meaning this team gets back on the road to be tested again. The nice thing about the Jazz is they're playing really well at home for the most part. And you love the consistency of what Keontae and what Lowry are doing. I think Bryce Sensabaugh is due for a breakout. He's had some decent games, but he hasn't had the breakout consistency that I like to see. And of course, the other pieces, the bench pieces coming along. But yeah, it'll be a fun match tomorrow.
I want to get your thoughts on Cody Williams coming into the league, being a first-round pick for the Jazz. His brother's an NBA star. It's not fair for him, but those kind of expectations are heaped on him because of that. But he's finally seems like he's turning a corner, getting more minutes and delivering. He's getting to the rack and making some plays. What are your thoughts on Cody Williams? Do you still believe in him as a guy that can make it in this league?
I'm really proud of how Cody is doing it, and it's not easy, man. You're a top 10 pick, right? And those things that you just said, people are going to talk. He's got a brother at OKC who's a champion. Is he going to be as good or like him? And that's the noise. Even though it's difficult, that's a noise that Cody has had to block out, right? And so I like the patience that and it doesn't just happen on his own. He's got to have people in his ear saying, look, be patient. Yeah, you're going to play G League. We're going to get you some reps, because if you're not getting them here, you got to get them somewhere. And I talked to him on the elevator the other day, because he's starting to show why his potential, his ceiling is so high. He's more aggressive to the hoop now. I think he's had probably 6 or 7 dunks in the last 2 or 3 games. But he's different, right? He's stronger. He's using it well. And even before, he didn't make poor decisions. He just wasn't consistent with shots. And they're trying to get him as a long, lanky player to guard some of the best offensive players in the league. So they're throwing him right into the 5. Well, I love his progress. I love where he's going. And I think his trajectory is going to continue to be up, because his confidence now is up.
Big T Thurl Bagley joining us on the program. If you stream the YouTube page, you can see his 3 Emmys in the background.
Was that a flex, Big T?
No problem. I'll take it all day. It makes us more credible. Come on. That's what I'm saying. That's why
Hey, you earned those. Let people know.
That's what I'm saying. All rookie league in the NBA or your 3 Emmys. You got to give one of them up. What's it going to be?
All rookie league in the NBA. I'll take the Emmys.
Yeah.
Take the Emmys.
You truly are a TV guy.
Yeah,
now,
you've turned
Thurl.
that corner.
I appreciate
You're full
that.
on media, man.
You're
I
one
love
of
it.
us.
I love it. Well, we hope to be one of you one day, Big T. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on the program, and let's add a 4th one this year, man. You guys are well on your way. You guys do a phenomenal job. Thanks again.
So do you too. I appreciate you, man. Anytime.
There you go,
Thanks, Big T.
There you go. It's not a flex. It's something that brings up our credibility. We have a picture that we're sharing on our screen that has. Well, you've got sports Emmys too, JJ.
I mean, I don't have them here in studio behind me.
Maybe
I don't have enough to do that.
Maybe we rectify that. Put a little.
You need a trophy
Annapolis.
case back here?
Hey, Annapolis, can we just get like one of those things that hangs off on like a little mini shelf? We just put JJ's Emmy right behind there.
I'll put in a request to IT.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, what I'll do is, and I got to give a little love to our colleague Sam Farnsworth. He's the broadcaster of the year in Utah.
Oh, that's right.
I need to borrow his award.
You know what?
Put it back here so people think I won it.
Well, we
Hey
just
guys, what's happening?
Yeah, we just have to get Sam on more and more, and get him on, and have him on the screen, and have that in the background, have your Emmy in the background, and I got like 6th place in the Pinewood Derby like in 1984. So
You've won a radio award or two. Come on now.
I have, but they're not as cool as you guys. With
Humble
the Emmys.
guy here.
No, but you guys do. The TV does the come join us at the Rocky Mountain Emmys. And the radio doesn't give 2 craps about this. So they're like, moving on.
You don't go to the Marconi Awards?
Oh yeah, you go to the Marconi Awards.
Win a Marconi.
Fly out to New York and win a Marconi. Sure, why not?
You got a few of those in your
No,
storage
I do
bin?
not. No, I do not.
Got stacks and stacks of Marconis.
All right. Ooh, I could go for some baked Marconi right now. Ooh.
Sounds good.
Marconi and cheese?
I was just going to say, does it have cheese in it?
Phenomenal.
I'm in.
Take a break. We'll come back. We have more to go on the program, and we'll get you ready for some NFL. My heavens, I can't wait. Wild card weekend in the NFL.
It's here.
NFL Blitz is next right here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. I'd love to talk about my Seattle Seahawks or your Denver Broncos, but now they're playing this weekend, JJ.
Well, they earned it.
Such
They
is
get the
life.
week off.
Such is life with the bye week. Hey, who are the Rams slumming it with this weekend on Wild Card Weekend? Anybody?
They're playing the Panthers,
Hey, now.
which they lost to about a month ago.
That is weird.
That's a cute story, though, with
It's not
the
going to
Panthers.
happen again.
Yeah, I would say I'm still bullish on the Rams. I'm only saying this because they had one of the most insane comebacks ever to win that game, 3 weeks ago in Seattle. Fun time. Great. I still have no confidence in Sam Darnold. If I'm going to buy into a quarterback in the NFC playoffs, it's going to be freaking Matthew Stafford, right? I mean, is he healthy?
Who's
Everything
the best quarterback left? There's no Mahomes this year.
Yeah. I think it is Stafford. I really do. I think Josh Allen is having a kind of Josh Allen here. I mean, going from MVP to that, not necessarily
That
the guy.
missed throw in overtime.
Weird.
That's burned into my memory
Okay.
right now. Yeah, it's been disappointing. Trevor Lawrence, is he the best?
I will never try to say that 40-something-year-old Aaron Rodgers is going to do
No,
anything.
he's over the hill.
No, I think it's got to be Matthew Stafford. You disagree? Are we thinking of everybody? Darnold is a fun story, but again,
It just Mahomes not being involved. I'm having
I don't
to
know
recalibrate.
what to do with my hands.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's the best.
But no Lamar too. Like that's weird.
No Lamar Jackson.
Ooh, now that's a great point.
I love Drake
May.
May, but it's year 2 where the Patriots feel a little bit fraudy to me. Did I just make up a word?
Fraudy. What'd you commit?
Fraudy.
Light fraudy.
I think you guys are kind of fraudy. You haven't really proven anything.
That's a good point because Drake might win the MVP. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But it feels early for me to give him the nod over Matthew Stafford, who is just still slinging it like crazy. And just has that crazy experience. So that's a great question.
Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl champion. Why are we not talking about Jalen Hurts?
Because he has also felt like he doesn't take over these games that they win.
He doesn't throw the football 40 times a game.
That's true. And maybe that's it.
Jordan Love's in the playoffs, but coming off a concussion, the Packers feel weird right now. Caleb Williams, is he ready for that kind of spotlight?
Well, I say,
is he ready for the big time?
I gave you the side eye shake that it had no way, but at the same time,
on YouTube, you could have saw that.
I've said that all year long though too.
But he's had some big moments.
They're not gonna be anywhere. No.
That game-winning throw in overtime against the Packers, that was a wow throw and a wow moment for me. Like, this guy has it. I don't know. I'm a Broncos fan. Do I believe Bo Nix is ready to do it?
What's crazy is the Bears are hosting a playoff game.
Right. This is new. This is a new world. The NFL is completely new to this year. There's no Chiefs running the whole thing. The Eagles, as dominant as they were last year and 2 years before that,
they don't feel like the other guys.
I just don't feel like they're the same team. And they've won ugly this year. Everything about the Eagles right now, they're doing ugly. And I don't believe that's going to get you where you need to go in the playoffs. Are the Texans being overlooked? Are the Texans that team? Incredible defense. C.J. Stroud has shown flashes of stardom at the quarterback position. They got great receivers. They got good running backs. Mm-hmm. Their offensive line's great. And it feels like they've got everything you need. They had a slow start this year, but they've won 9 in a row. Are the Texans that team? I'm curious to see them. And we're going to get to see them on Sunday.
Can I mention this wild graphic they just put up on ESPN? Number of four or 5-star players in the college football semifinal. I know it's a college football deal.
Yeah.
Just took it off, so I might be off a little bit on the numbers, but the big ones that I want you to know. Oregon has on their roster have 55 either 4 or 5-star guys.
That's insane.
Next is Miami with 45. After that, it was
Ole Miss.
It was Ole Miss at 32, which you look at and you go, Indiana has 8 4 or 5-star guys on their roster.
That's crazy.
8.
And they look to be clearly the best team in the country.
That's crazy.
And they have the Heisman Trophy winner.
They're playing a team that has 55 either 4 or 5-star guys on their roster tonight. They've already beat them once this year, by the way.
All right. In their place.
That's crazy. All right. Anyway, I
saw
that
fascinating.
pop up.
That is really fascinating.
Who's the biggest shock of the NFL playoffs this year? Is it the Bears at 11-6? Is it
it's the Bears, and it's not even close.
Well, what about the freaking Patriots? They're as good as
Great point.
The Jags are a great. Listen, that's a 13-win team.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has won playoff games.
Yeah, they've gone to the playoffs. Yes.
The Patriots we thought would take a jump a little bit. Had some talent, signed Stephon Diggs. The Bears, I think you're absolutely valid. You can debate that for sure. Patriots or Bears, biggest surprise in the playoffs,
Bears are such
biggest
poverty.
rise.
The Bears have been such poverty as a franchise.
Both won their divisions this year.
Long,
the Bears have been bad for so long.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest shock. And it's not just – and the Patriots, it's not like the NFC North, especially coming into the season, felt impossible for the Bears to navigate. I mean, Minnesota was coming off of the 14-win season?
Yeah.
The Lions – it was 14 wins for the Lions. Was the Lions 15 wins last year, right?
No. Yes, because they –
Didn't they go 15-2?
Now I'm second guessing here. I think they both went 14-3, and I think the tiebreak went to the Vikings because they I think had the first round bye. I think the Lions are the first team.
It was 15-2 for the Lions, 14-3 for the Vikings.
It was the first 14-win team that didn't have a bye.
Correct.
Ever.
And that's a
weird one.
That's because of the new 17-game schedule. But for that division to completely flip, and for the Bears to run the division this year, was more shocking to me than the Patriots winning the division. Because the Dolphins and Jets are garbage, and the Bills are unpredictable. I didn't expect the Patriots to win the AFC East, and I'm not taking anything away from what they did. For the Patriots to go to 14-3 this year and win that division for the first time in a long time.
The Pats are the SEC of the are the SEC team of the playoffs this year.
I guess.
It's a weak schedule.
Yeah.
Faking it.
They do have. I don't have this in front of me, but I think they did have, as far as strength of schedule, the weakest strength of schedule of the teams in the playoffs.
So you got yourself 5 NFL playoff games this weekend.
Yeah.
And I love it because wait, hold on a minute. Did you say there was one Monday or no?
There is Monday. Yeah, Steelers-Texans is the Monday.
The Steelers-Texans is the Monday game.
Yes,
so
correct.
Here's what we have going on between tomorrow and Sunday, though. Rams-Panthers. Love it. Packers-Bears. Interdivision. Love it. Old school. The old black and blue division.
Yes.
Right? I mean, they just absolute, like, history right there. Bills-Jags is intriguing as heck.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great game. Great matchup. 49ers-Eagles is one of those that for 5 minutes we thought that was going to be a second round or even an NFC championship
if you
matchup.
told me that was the NFC championship this year, I'd be like, oh, of course.
Absolutely.
That tracks.
Instead, wild card. And then Chargers-Patriots, that whole everything that surrounds that one.
Chargers are a 7 seed, and I think I'm interested to know.
What's the Monday game? It's the Steelers.
The Patriots
Texans,
are 3.5-point favorites at home, just 3.5 against the 7 seed.
Yeah, and
it's not a big gap.
No, and they've got Jim Harbaugh. I think they have, even though we're talking about Drake May and who's the better quarterback, like Justin Herbert, we disrespected him by not mentioning him in that conversation. He's got to be in that top 3, right?
But he's not healthy. He's not 100%.
He's not 100%. So but the Chargers defense is one of the best in the league. So we'll see how this thing goes with that one.
You're right. These matchups are really intriguing. All of them are looking really close.
You know what I'm doing, though?
The only 2 games with lines above 3.5 are the Eagles and 49ers and the Panthers-Rams. The Rams are 10.5-point favorites on the road.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Team that I want to go as far as they can, and is an awesome story, the Houston Texans. Please win all the games. Get to the AFC Championship game, maybe against the Patriots. I don't even know if the bracket would allow that. But I love the idea that team was 1-4, 2-5, and they're. Oh, sorry. Am I saying that? I was like, why is he poo-pooing this? It's because they'd have to go through.
So Sam Darnold's going to be one and done again in the playoffs, right? The Seahawks are a fraud.
Listen, I don't like your attitude.
Is Jordan Love and the Packers going to beat them?
I don't like your attitude, the way you're saying it, but I can't disagree. I don't believe in the Seahawks either yet. As a 14-win team, it's only because Sam Darnold took his last team to 14-3. Now, I will say this.
Now, the Seahawks are probably either playing the Rams or the Packers. So which one do you think has the best shot?
Oh, yeah. I would hate to face the Rams.
I'm assuming the Eagles beat the 49ers.
I would hate to face the Rams again. Because it's going to be up in Seattle either way.
Yeah.
Give me the Packers. Give me the Packers in the second round.
No confidence in your team whatsoever.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, I don't know.
Are you
I don't
just
think
trying to set yourself up to trying to keep expectations low?
Think about what the Mariners did this year and what the Seahawks have done this year, okay? Both of them like kind of living very similar lives right now where it's like, hey, that's nice. I didn't expect that. Hey, look at that. You guys going to the playoffs again? Hey, you're going to the ALCS? Nice. In this case, you go, everything's gravy at this point. I just think it's, I'm happy to be here, okay? The plight of a not very confident in his team fan. Hey, I'm just glad we're here. It's kind of a loser mentality, but I've seen this team lose a lot. They've won some, but I've seen them lose a lot. All right. I don't think they're the best team in the NFL or the best team in the NFC.
But who is? Who's supposed to win this whole thing? I have no idea. That's why it's exciting.
The NFC's tough. I think that the AFC is a little bit more of a clear situation.
I don't know. I think the Chargers at the 7th seed are good enough to win the whole thing.
I do think it's great that we don't have to worry about the Kansas City Chiefs and worrying about that. But it is good to have a year that the Bills are down. The Bills are like, the Chiefs aren't here in the playoffs, and we kind of have been crap this year.
Yeah.
Not a good year to do that. The 1 year you can avoid them in the playoffs, and them and the Ravens, and you might lose in the first round. You might lose in the wild card. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More to go around the corner. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
This is what you got. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Got a top 10 for you. JJ, you ready for a Friday edition of Top 10? Naples, you going to participate?
You going to take it easy on me because it's the weekend?
No.
Dang it.
No, but I do think you guys will get a lot of these.
All right.
Okay?
I'll give it a shot.
Now, in honor of Indiana being in the college football national semifinal, favored to win this one over Oregon, 48 minutes away from kickoff, by the way. Favored to win this one, and they would likely be the favorite against anybody. We brought up the wild stat that everybody else, it's like 55 4- and 5-star players for Oregon on their roster.
Crazy.
45 for Miami, 4- and 5-star players on their roster. 32 for Ole Miss, poverty SEC program. They only got 32. Indiana has 8. But such is life for a team who is one of the worst teams in college football history. In fact, I'll give you the first one on this list. They're on the top 10 for the most losses of all time in college football. So you have that one. I'll give that one to you.
Okay.
You've got to do the other 9.
Okay.
On your mark, get set, go.
Vanderbilt. Northwestern.
Ding.
Princeton. Michigan State. Ole Miss.
Well, let me look for the word. Oh, no.
No. Mississippi State. Florida. Texas Tech. Baylor. TCU. SMU. Cal. Stanford. UCLA.
Annapolis, you can
say
chime in
UMass?
chime in
Oregon
at any
State.
time. Did you
Oregon.
say UMass?
Yeah.
Oregon State, Oregon. Minnesota. Wisconsin. Illinois. West Virginia. Rutgers.
Ding.
Maryland. Virginia. Va-Tech. Georgia Tech. Wake Forest.
Ding.
Duke.
Not on the list.
Duke's not?
Nope. Now, there's a theme here.
Did I do all right?
Did pretty good. Man, there was a streak in there. You looked like Prairie View A&M at some point.
Ew.
See, I threw in another team. It was really bad. They're not on the top 10. They have the worst losing streak of all time. You remember what it was?
What was it?
Do you remember Prairie View?
How bad was it?
I only remember because during the midst of this losing streak, I would always play with them on college football. I'd be like, ooh, I got to find the Panthers. Get down to them, kick them while they're down.
You know way too much about Prairie View A&M.
And I'll put a 90 burger on Prairie View A&M if I didn't win the national championship on the career mode. 80 losses in a row, by the way.
Dang.
80 losses in a row. It's the worst.
That's poverty.
All right. Let me see here. You didn't get – so a lot of these they've been around a long time.
Yeah, that's why I threw Princeton out there.
Yeah, well, and those I guess probably are in that discussion, but
schools.
it is Midwestern schools dominated, or
Okay.
Big Ten dominated, really. So you got Indiana, you got Northwestern, you got Rutgers, you got Wake Forest. Kansas is terrible.
Oh, yeah. I
All
forgot
time.
Kansas.
Iowa State is one of the losingest programs
People
of all
forget
time.
how bad they used to be.
Tulane is on the top 10 list.
Interesting.
Kansas State, man, remember how bad
Dang.
they were for a long,
That's
long
true,
time
yeah.
before Bill Snyder came in.
Yeah, they were irrelevant.
Rice on the list.
Oh, poor Rice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Arkansas.
Arkansas?
Mm-hmm. They're just, I guess they've been in the.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought so too.
That's interesting.
And of course, it's always a fun time to bring up the worst loss in NCAA history, which was Cumberland falling to Georgia Tech, coached by John Heisman back in 1916, 222-0. Always my favorite stat. And it was all because it was just a revenge thing for him.
I remember you
For
telling
John
the
Heisman.
story, yes.
I don't think John Heisman was a great guy. Kicking smaller programs down, kicking them while they're down.
So the Heisman Trophy is named after somebody who was a piece of crap?
He couldn't. Here's the thing about this
Or
story.
did he
was
used to be a piece of crap?
These guys are like, hey, man, we got a lot of guys who are joining the Army. It's 1916. We got a lot of guys who joined the Army, and we're kind of short on some guys. Georgia Tech's like, are you not going to honor our contract? Well, when you come here next year, we'll see you. So he decides to absolutely stick it to Cumberland in 1916, who had a bunch of people.
Did he do an onside kick in the third quarter?
I think probably worse than that if it's 222-0.
It was the third quarter.
It was the third quarter. We still had a lot of football still left. I think my favorite stat is that he scored 82 points in one of the quarters. So that's good.
Dang.
We'll take a break. We'll come back when we do. Hey, I think Cole Bagley is going to walk into the studio, yeah? Get him live and in person. You got the Utah Mammoth tonight over here at Delta Center. See if they can make it 2-0 on the 7-game homestand that they've got upcoming here. So we'll talk to Cole. We'll get his thoughts. I haven't talked to him since the Winter Classic news was rolled out. And, of course, lots of focus on the Utah Mammoth this week from a national perspective. How's this team looking on paper, though, against the rest of the league when it comes to trying to make these playoffs? Stay here. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth is on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Backdoor pass, and they score! Lawson Krause lasers one in, and the Mammoths are off and running. Keller, one-timer, tipped wide, rebound, they score! Johnny Marino makes it 2-0. Brandon Tanev around behind the Ottawa net, wraparound, shut down, rebound loose, it's still loose! They're trying to jam it in, Miralainen got back, Utah saying it's in, and it is! The Mammoth kick down the door and make it 3-1!
You're locked into JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Daniil Boot was going to get that second goal of the season in that moment, regardless of what happened. You were not going to deny that guy. Right in front of the goal, just absolutely poking away, and finally it goes into the goal, and it made it 3-1, and they get the win over the Ottawa Senators. Nice start to the homestand with 7 games in front of them. They've got a lot that they've got to do to keep those points rolling in to be able to stay in that conversation of all of the things that have to do with the playoffs. But, hey, this portion of the show, by the way, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJANwealth.com. Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. We're getting ready for college football semifinals. We've got the Utah Mammoth across the street. And Cole Bagley, our Utah Mammoth insider for KSLSports.com, just walked into the studio. Cole, does this part of your job get old, going over and having to cover the game again over here at Delta Center?
Nah.
No, it doesn't.
I'm a bit of a sicko, I think.
No, we all kind of are. I mean, like there's a thing to this. I mean, the reality is some people could live their dream of their career and everything, and other people say this has been a dream and they don't mean it. You're the latter. You're the former. You're the one that gets to actually have that dream thing that you're covering the team and be able to watch this whole thing go down. What impressed you the other night? On a game-by-game basis, we kind of live and die with this team. We tell fans not to do it, but we do. Tell us what happened in that game that you were impressed by that was a good start to the 7-game homestand.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was definitely just their approach to their play in front of the net on both ends. Ottawa is a nasty team, and a lot of it's stems from their captain, right? Brady Tkachuk is one of the nasty players in the NHL who throws his body around, and I mean he is always hunting. He's always looking to smash somebody, to pulverize somebody, and that's the style that the Senators play is a gritty, physical game in front of the net on both ends. And I think that was probably Utah's best performance in terms of their net front presence. They were pushing around. They were whacking away. I mean, Boot scores that goal because of that. That effort, right? They surrounded the goaltender and they just pushed it until it went across the line. And then the other end, Utah's defense is not overly big by any means. I think John Marino is probably the biggest player back there, and he's 6'2", maybe 6'3", but most of the guys are about 6 foot, maybe a little bit taller. and going up against guys like Kachuk who are 6'4", 6'5". They did really well. He was rendered pretty ineffective, and
his worst game of the season. He was -3 on the ice, which just not happen for Brady Kachuk.
No, he's a dominant force. I mean, we're living in a day and age where those guys are rare, but their game is so important. So yeah, I was really impressed with how they approached that on both ends, and Coach Torney talked about it afterwards, and I met with Bill the other day, and that's the style they want to see moving forward through the rest of the season, is to play physical, gritty hockey, because generally speaking, the team that wins that kind of battle every night is going to win on the scoreboard.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And you got to have a goaltender that's on top of his game. And right now, Kril Vejmelka is just that. You watch him each and every game. What's the difference now compared to maybe earlier in the season?
I think when he was pulled about a month ago, it made a big difference.
Really?
And I think a lot of times that's why you pull a goalie. It's not because you're going to bring in your backup and you're going to win the game, right? You're usually trailing by 4 or 5 at that point. But it's to send a message. And, over these last 13 games, he's 9-4, and his save percentage is above 900. His save percentage was, I think, .907 in December. And if you don't count the game against New Jersey, his save percentage is .932 in January. Wow. Now, if you do count it, it's like .895 because that game against New Jersey was a little rough. But, he's just playing more confidently. He's making those unexpected saves. He's saving the ones that you expect him to save, and then he's occasionally making the unexpected ones. He did that 3 or 4 times against Ottawa. He stopped a critical breakaway in the second period that could have tied things up. 2-2 game in the second instead of 2-1, and then who knows where it goes from there. And he did. He had some similarly big saves in the third period. As Ottawa got a couple of power plays, he was their best penalty killer on the night. So. Yeah, he looks a lot more like the goaltender that won Utah's net a year ago, and that's
got him the big contract too.
Exactly, that's the guy that signed the big contract. That's the guy that they believe in, and if he can play that way, if he can stay around 900 through the rest of the season, I think Utah makes the playoffs.
Let's take a look at a guy who we talked to Bear Torney yesterday. You talked to Bill Armstrong about him too, and I'm fascinated by Daniil Boot. He's young. He's super raw, but he is got something. He's got a knack where he's always around the puck. He finds himself attacking the net and not having a problem. And he has, moments where guys try to go, I'm going to stick it to this rookie. I'm going to hit him hard. It's like he does not get fazed by it. What do you like about his game? What has Bill Armstrong said about his game? Of course, Coach Torney approves of the Cheeks nickname as of yesterday.
But he's still pushing Booter, which is a little disappointing because that just doesn't work.
Yeah. I asked him about that today. But I said, you got a lot of nicknames. Which one do you like the most? He goes, Booter is good. but
doesn't love Cheeks.
Cheeks is good too.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Bear goes. No, Cheeks is good. Cheeks is a good one. Like he liked it too. He just is. I don't know if he can bring himself to it. It feels very much like
it's hard to take a guy seriously who you call Cheeks.
Well, it's also like me trying to
like. It's also hard for a head coach to be taken seriously when he's calling one of his players Cheeks.
It is one of the best nicknames in the NHL.
There's no doubt
because the NHL is all about nicknames, and most of the time they're really not like anything extraordinary. It's like. Keller is Kells, and Krause is Krauser, and Schmaltz is Schmaltzy.
Right.
Usually you just
that's what
E-R-Y.
He's adding
exactly.
Booter, Cools.
So Cheeks is so good.
It is.
But yeah, he's a special player. I had an opportunity to talk to Bill Armstrong about him yesterday, and he said that what makes him so special on this team is they have not had a player like Daniil Boot for a long time in this organization. And it's like you were talking about, pointing out, he just keeps going to the net. He runs over a future Hall of Famer in Jonathan Quick, who wants to fight him, who wants to rip his face off. And he just gives him that big, cheeky Russian smile. And he does it again on the next shift. Mm-hmm. And then against Ottawa, he's doing it again. He's going right at the net. And he's sitting there, on his backside, whacking at the puck, and it goes in, and he puts his hands in the air, and then he just lays down on the ice. And that was 2 or 3 shifts after he got absolutely pulverized in the defensive zone. Bill also told me, he said, look, we're working on some curriculum about mental toughness. And there's going to be a chapter in there just labeled Daniil Boot. because it doesn't matter what happens to him.
That's a compliment.
He gets up and he goes and he goes and he goes and he goes. And, as soon as that puck starts to, more consistently get across the line, he is going to be such a good player. As soon as his confidence continues to grow.
I wanted to ask you, follow-up there is, what is his ceiling? Like when you're looking around the league and you look, is there comps for him?
Tage Thompson.
Okay.
A big, giant oaf who is going to mess around in the crease, who's going to push people out, who is too big to just even handle. Because there's not that many defensemen that are overly big that can match him, size for size, inch for inch. He's humongous.
Yeah.
He's so tough to push around. And so I think that's the ceiling, is a Tage Thompson type player, which he just got named to Team USA. Right. He'll be playing he scored the golden goal at World Championships. Mm-hmm. He's a really special talent. So I think that's the hope and the ceiling for this kid. And if you guys have been watching him, I think he's played about 17, 18 games now. He just continues to get better. He's putting himself in the right spot every single time. The only issue is that he's not finishing the chances. So as soon as he's able to consistently finish those chances, when his confidence grows a little bit more, when he learns the North American style game a little bit better, and another question I asked is Bill. I said, "Is he shooting enough?" He's like, "No." He's got a laser beam of a wrist shot.
Yeah, we saw it in the preseason.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
So when he starts letting pucks fly a little bit more, he figures out that spacing a little bit better, and he can, get the puck across the line more consistently. I think that in 2 or 3 years, Daniil Boot could be a staple of the top 6 for the Mammoth and a 60 to 70 point guy.
Wow.
That's pretty high. It's pretty high praise. Pretty tall expectations too, but he is tall, so it works out. The announcement this week, obviously there was a lot going on in the background. At one point on Tuesday, we were all like, I thought Cole was going to join us. He's like, well, he's working on something. And then we were like, ew. And then it turned into, there might be an announcement next week. And then it got to the point where everybody started to find out about it. And so then they're like, we're putting this thing together. Bring in Gary Bettman, fly him in. Let's go. Let's get this thing going. How did that thing come about? And it sounds like it's been a long time in the works. They were just, getting the details nailed down, all those things. But how big of a deal is the outdoor game, and how big of a deal is the Winter Classic in this league?
Yeah, that's why I'm a sicko, because I worked like 16 hours that day.
Jeez.
But I loved it, morning skate and chatting with all the guys, and then going to Rice Eccles, and, Winter Classic is announced. Like, this is the marquee event for the National Hockey League, aside from the playoffs.
Right.
This is almost their Super Bowl, if you will, because hockey at its roots is a game that was played outside. It's played on the frozen lakes and ponds, up in Minnesota and Michigan and throughout Canada,
in Ontario.
Yeah, exactly.
Calgary.
That's where this game is played.
Yukon territory.
Don't just start throwing out like all the places in Canada,
Saskatoon, all those places. No, it's a huge deal, because the conversations that I was a part of and that they had said publicly when they first started talking about an outdoor game was that it was just going to be a stadium series. And the stadium series is fun. It's fine, but it's more of like a complimentary event. Yeah. Like the Winter Classic is the Winter Classic. It is the event. It was started back in 2008 when the NHL was looking for something like that to compete, to have a big event when football kind of starts to slow down a little bit. Obviously playoffs rev up, but in that period where, hey, we could do something special and compete and get tons of people and put the eyes of the sports world upon the league. They brought in Sidney Crosby, who was the star of the league, the young star of the league. They played in Buffalo, so they had a blizzard. The ice conditions were horrid. Like, they had chunks of ice coming up. They were patching it. I love it. They were going out there. The snow's coming down. They're basically just taking snowballs and patching it in and pouring water on it to get it, back to where it needed to be. There's a clip of Crosby where he comes off the ice and he's like, the puck weighs 5 pounds out there. I don't know what to do with it. And if you watch that game, the hockey was atrocious, but it was the coolest thing ever. And that's what we're going to get here in Utah.
It's like the Turkey Bowl. Force a bunch of NFL guys to come out to your ward house. play behind the church and be like, this grass is terrible. I know, isn't it awesome?
Tearing Achilles.
Better figure it out.
But about half the league has never hosted a Winter Classic.
Yeah.
So for Utah in year 3 to get one,
Pretty quick.
Arizona had never played an outdoor game.
That's sad.
Utah comes in year 3, and they get to host it.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And so I hope that Utahns are as excited about this as I am, because this is the purest form of hockey. It's a major marquee event, and the fact that the NHL entrusted Ryan Smith, SEG, and the Utah Mammoth to host it speaks volumes about how well hockey is thriving here.
Well, it feels like the league couldn't wait to do it here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It was either an All-Star game or the Winter Classic. That's what they said.
wow. What would you prefer?
The Winter Classic, hands down.
Really?
100%.
That's interesting.
Like, I think that the All-Star game is broken in the NHL.
Right.
That's why Four Nations was so amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a success.
That's a good point.
The Winter Classic, it's not like this off game that doesn't count. It's a regular season game.
Right.
And these guys, we're getting Nathan McKinnon and Kale McCarr and Gabriel Landeskog to come to town and to play against the Mammoth. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be packed out.
With 55,000 fans watching.
Yeah, and it might be 50-50 in terms of the fan support. You might have
Keep those Avalanche fans out of here.
But Utah,
Go home.
That matchup, I was told that matchup was really important. They weren't going to settle for anybody but Colorado.
Really?
They wanted the Avalanche to come to town.
That's awesome.
They want that rivalry to grow. They want to face them in the playoffs. They want it. They want all the
bold.
smoke. They want to play Colorado.
Okay.
Well, this year,
Maybe not this year.
pump the brakes.
Here's
Be
what
nice to have 4 games.
Slow down now.
Cool.
Here's what I like
Careful
about
what you
it,
ask
though.
for.
I don't know that there's a team in the NHL that has played Colorado better than Utah.
That's
this year.
true.
Yeah. They've beat them.
And then they took them to overtime, right?
Took them to overtime,
Yeah.
and then they've taken them right down to and lost by a goal.
Yep.
They wouldn't beat them, but they would make their lives real tough. They could push them to 5 or 6.
And that would be a really interesting way for the Mammoth to break into the playoffs for the first time.
Yeah.
And kind of send a message that we're next.
Yeah.
Now you're talking me into it. I kind of like that, even though I'd like to see the Mammoth advance, and it probably wouldn't happen this year. But, hey, if you want to become the best team in the league,
play 'em.
You can't be afraid of the Avalanche.
Hey,
So, yeah, I kind of like it.
I think a couple of times ago when we talked to you, maybe 3 weeks ago, I guess, we probably talked to you about this, but the power play for this team is not good. They're at the bottom, I think they're 29th right now as of today. And last time we talked to you, there might have been 13%. They were dead last, but so I guess they've moved up a little bit. But
Yeah.
what's improving with the power play, or what's struggling still with the power play? They're doing pretty darn well at the penalty kill. I think they're 12th in the league. But when you're 29th, 30th, 31st, that's where they've been all season long with the power play numbers. How do you get that kind of a number up, and how do you change the vibe of? Because at some point you kind of just that's who your team is a little bit.
Yeah.
But what is it that they have to change to be able to get aggressive? Because getting around the puck and getting to the net on power play, what are they doing wrong that where teams have figured out? It seems like some of them have figured out how to kind of defend their version of the power play.
Well, 29th is better than 32nd.
That's true.
They're at 15.5% now, whereas they were 13.7.
When they were dead last.
Yes, when they were dead last. I think in December, their power play was up at about 20%, whereas November it was 5.7%. So, month to month, a 15% increase, and then obviously about a 2.5% increase overall. I think what the struggles have been for this team is they've been just too perimeter of a power play team. When you've watched, if you've watched when they've had success, they're generating traffic in front of the net. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's why they love a guy like Daniel Boot, is because he generates traffic. When you're playing perimeter in the NHL, the goalies are just so good that they're not going to be taken by surprise on a one-timer from the wing. They're not going to be taken, by surprise from a blast from the point.
Right.
You got to generate traffic. You got to get them moving side to side. You got to get bodies in front. You got to get them screened. You got to block their vision, and you also got to try to score, greasy goals.
Yeah.
Where the goaltender makes the original save, but you got a body right there to clean it up. That's how Ottawa scored on the power play the other night. The puck, Veggie made a good original save, but the puck dropped right in front. The guy just cleans it up, sweeps it into the net. So that I think is where they've started to improve. Is they've recognized we got to stop this perimeter stuff. We can't be a one-trick pony of feeding Dylan Guenther on the left wing every single time, because it's not a surprise anymore. Goaltenders know how good Dylan Guenther is. They know, and it's not hard to see it coming, right? It's the same thing. They start up at the point. They go to Keller. He goes back down to Sergachev, and Sergachev swings. As I've watched it recently, the goaltender is sitting right on that near post ready for it. So unless Dylan really blasts one over the shoulder, it's not going to go in.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, how do you improve? You keep working at it. You keep showing up. You dig a little deeper. You battle a little harder. They've changed, the units occasionally. Brought guys up, brought guys down, but it's just a grind. You just keep going, and you hope that numbers improve, and they have, and that's positive. So just keep going.
Reached the halfway point in the NHL season. I want to get your thoughts on where things are at league-wide. Biggest disappointment, biggest surprise in the league so far, halfway through?
Biggest disappointment, just from a league standpoint?
Sure.
Winnipeg is
it's
falling
gotta be the Jets, man.
off.
Come on.
What's up with that?
Hellebuck was out for a month.
They've lost 11 games in a row.
He also hasn't really returned to form.
Well,
either.
and they lost one of their best players to Carolina in the offseason.
Yeah.
I think it was Ehlers. Mm-hmm. He walked, and Hellebuck is that team. Like, he is everything about that team.
Yeah.
And when your best goaltender's gone for a month, who's top 2, top 3 in the league, you're not going to win a lot of hockey games. So I think that has definitely been the biggest disappointment. The way Colorado's playing is not necessarily a surprise, but how dominant they are is a little bit of a surprise. But if I had to go just kind of based off of, general, I think where things are at in terms of the playoff standings in both conferences. I mean, Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota in the Central is not a surprise. But then you go to the Pacific, Vegas only has 5 more points than Utah. And they've got an all-star team. Jack Eichel, Mitch Marner, Mark Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a team that should be 55-60.
Yeah.
Edmonton struggled for the first, month of the season. Seattle is in a playoff spot. San Jose is in a wild card spot. Anaheim was on fire to start the year. They have significantly cooled off. Nashville isn't as bad as everybody thought they were going to be. And then you look over to the East, and Detroit is a very, very good team. The Islanders they're second in the Metropolitan, and then you look at who's out of it. The Washington Capitals are not in a playoff spot. Toronto is a joke. Toronto's approaching a point where you might have to burn it all down. Like, Mitch Marner left that team, and they're terrible.
They got 49 points.
Yeah, like
Jeez.
Toronto is reaching a point where you might have to go. We might need to rebuild here.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
You have Austin Matthews and William Nylander and Jonathan Tavares, and you can't even be in a wild card spot?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It's tough.
So, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, the Florida Panthers they're 6th in the wild card race in the East. Obviously,
Should they panic?
2 of their best players have been injured all season. Matthew Tkachuk, not having him, and then their captain. That's
Can you
tough.
imagine the Panthers not even getting a chance to defend?
Tkachuk is close, but they're going to have to push. They're going to, of the last probably.
they're only 3 points out, so.
Yeah, but they're going to have to push. So, I don't know. The league has kind of flipped on its head a little bit this year. It's kind of like the NFL.
And that's fun.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I'm looking at the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah. What? Were you surprised by that?
The Pittsburgh Penguins were awful. Right. They were considerations to trade Crosby a season ago, and now they're probably gonna make the playoffs. They're a point back from being 3rd in their division, and they've won 6 in a row. Like honestly, the season is just on something, and I don't know what it is, but it's fun, right?
Yeah, that's why you like professional leagues. That's why the NFL's good.
Yeah,
that's why the NFL. That's why you do like the NFL, because there is that parity there.
Yeah. But then you look at Colorado's record, you're like, well, what are we even doing here?
32-4 is pretty wild.
Can anybody beat them in a 7-game series?
71 points. Only 43 games.
How do you only have 4 losses, and we're almost mid-January?
It's crazy.
Almost half the league is between 40 and 50 points right now.
Yeah.
Right. That's how much and so that's why, like, has Utah disappointed? Yeah, but not by much. I think like where they should be is probably around 50 points. So they're really only 5 points shy of where they should be.
It's just so tough because you're in a division where you have a 71-point team and then 2 60-point teams.
The Central is a juggernaut.
It's an absolute mess to try to get some advantage there.
They have to settle for a wild card spot.
Yeah.
From day one, that's what Utah's facing.
Yeah.
There's no team in the East that's close to 60 or 56, and you got 3 60-plus point teams in your own division.
In one division.
Right. Those are the teams. Those are the 3 teams ahead of you in the
And
standings.
they all have the best goal differential in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
And Colorado's is plus 76. The second is plus 29.
They've scored 175 goals this year. The Avalanche. That's insane. That's like at least. I mean, the Stars are second best there, and they're 22 goals better than them.
Yeah.
Than the Stars. So it's crazy. Cole, tonight, the Blues, speaking of divisional opponents, speaking of teams that were in the playoffs last year, and also a team that they're not that far off. I mean, they're 42 points and they're second to last in the division. But between St. Louis and the Mammoth, that's 4 teams that are separated by 3 points, and they're one of those teams that are just 3 points behind the Mammoth. Tell us what happens tonight as St. Louis comes to town. Bill Armstrong's old team that he was the assistant GM for.
Yeah, I mean, I think St. Louis they're not overly similar to Ottawa, but they're definitely a scrappier team. They've been struggling in terms of scoring goals, giving up a lot of goals. Their goal differential is one of the worst in the NHL at minus 43.
Wow.
But they're still able, to win hockey games. I mean, if you look at over the last 10, they're 5-4-1. So they're scrappy. And, I would expect another close game. I think there was a stat that like 65+% of games this year have been decided by 1 goal. That's just going to continue. That's why we're seeing all this parity. And, I'm going to say this every single game, but every single game right now for Utah is a must win because you're at home for 10 of the next 14. You need to generate some sort of space between yourself and everybody beneath you as you push to get into a wild card spot because Logan Cooley is going to be coming back. Bill told me on the record yesterday, either before or after the Olympics. Obviously, that's broad, but there's a chance he could be back before the Olympics. So, keep winning, utilize the fact that the schedule is now favoring Utah. They now play, majority of their games at home, and this is a swing game, right? It's not an Eastern Conference opponent where it's just 2 points. No, this is a 4-point swing game. So, make sure that they get 2 and don't go to overtime. Don't give them 1. Get it done, get 2, and move on to the next.
I've been saying it on the show. January, it's go time for this team. You
100%.
do it now or you're not.
Yes, this is
so
prove it
now
time.
is the time.
Cole, you do a pretty darn good job, man. Thanks for always coming in and educating us.
Cole, you're not Cheeks.
Well, yeah. Thanks for educating us plebes on the game, and it is good to get these kinds of breakdowns. It's good to have somebody who knows what they're talking about.
What would your hockey nicknames be?
That's a good question.
I mean, you'd probably just go by JJ.
Yeah, I guess so.
Alex.
Alexei? Yeah.
Alex,
Tell me a Russian.
Alex, you got to put an on the end of it.
No, I like the Alexei because it makes me sound tougher like a Russian.
Alexer.
No, Alexer's been a good guy. He's got a good shot. Kiers, he's a good guy. Kiers, good guy.
Kiers, it's Kiers.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! All right,
Kiers and Jenner.
Well, we'll be looking for the hat trick tonight, and of course after in this breakdown of this one, and Cole showing up on the show, courtesy of the folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together. Cole, thanks for hanging out, man. We appreciate it.
We'll
Have fun over there at Delta Center. All right, we'll take the break. We'll come back. We got more around the corner. Stay with us as we get you ready for the Mammoth at the top of the hour. Let's also, they're about to kick off the old semifinal game here. Let's get it going.
Here we go.
Stay here, 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, it's a good song to jam to on a Friday, right?
Where does that rank among the greatest rock songs of all time?
I will say it's probably top 15. Here's the thing about it. It's definitely number 1 on Guitar Hero. Definitely number one on Guitar Hero.
It's higher for me.
Where's Freebird on the list then for you? Because I don't know if I look at that and go, oh yeah, that's going to be a top 5.
It is for me.
All right.
I gotta make a list.
Hey, Annapolis. Make him finish his list next week, okay? Let's hold him to it. My question is this.
Did I just create more work for myself?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Now you're going to actually
what's the cutoff?
Hold me to it.
Like, what's like the, for you, like what constitutes it? You know what I mean? Like, are we talking about a classic rock? Like, are we talking like a 60s?
I'm just it's all-encompassing rock.
Okay. Because, I don't think grunge is, really in that. You know what I mean? But you and I both love ourselves some grunge.
I think it's aged well, and I think that if you look at some of the songs, I think Even Flow by Pearl Jam, I would say that's something, Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Did I tell you, I was in an English class in 8th grade, and our teacher was like, I want you guys, she's like a real, hippie type.
Yeah.
I want you guys to, and we had this corner, we had all our reading, and it was supposed to be like a thinking corner, right? And it was a tough class. It was like some honors class in 8th grade English. And she's like, I want this to be you guys, and you guys need to come up with a theme. And we called the corner Even Flow, and we decorated it with all these butterflies and said, where thoughts arrive like butterflies. And she thought we were such poets. I'm like, this is freaking Eddie Vedder. This lady didn't know. So we had this funny thing where it was like a tree, and it said Even Flow, where thoughts arrive like butterflies. She thought we were just like, I was like, yeah, no, we are. Oof, yeah. And it had all these butterflies on the wall. And I was like, I don't know if this is the.
You almost won a scholarship for that poem.
She's like, she thought we were we're thinking so outside the box. Stole it from Eddie Vedder. And if we wouldn't have, it would have been stolen from Kurt Cobain. That's where we got our inspiration from. By the way, just a little update for you. Trinidad Chambliss got denied his 6th-year extension, dude, for the NCAA. The NCAA denied it. Does that count?
The NCAA actually did something?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Does that count? Because if I got that
just
from them,
ignore him. Diego Pavia did.
That's what I was going to say. If they said no, I'd shake my hands with my lawyers and be like, we're in business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So the odds of him coming back, I don't hate it because I really like that dude as a player.
I love the story where a guy grinds in Division III, Division II, JUCO, and then makes it to the big stage and does something like that. And Trinidad Chambliss is one of those stories. That's why we watch and love college football. We're watching too much of this crap where these guys are making $4 million and all this stuff going on that feels like pro football. And then all of a sudden a story like Trinidad Chambliss happens and reminds you why we fell in love with college football in the first place.
It is tough because this is a guy who I don't know what his NFL prospects would look like. I don't know.
He'll get a look now.
Well, I think so too.
He was awesome last night.
He was really, really good. And by
they
the
were
way,
one play away.
And by the way, if you're a scout watching that game, you go, "Oh, this guy got sacked once by one of the best defensive lines in the country and one of the best defenses in the country. He got sacked once. Why? Because he gets rid of the ball quick. The NFL puts a huge premium on guys who can process and throw and get through their progressions and throw quick.
3 things are in demand right now for a quarterback at all levels. Quick release, strong arm, athleticism. And he has those 3 things.
I think he's
got a shot.
Is he big? I don't know if he's big or not.
There's a reason why he was a D2, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But, I mean, I don't know.
So,
and
that always comes down to the measurables, or I don't know what he was like or what he looked like when he was in high school or what his background is.
Ooh.
But he's only 6'1".
He's a second to 4th round projection.
Yeah.
That's nice.
He's proven now.
The thing is I would just feel bad.
He's done at Ole Miss. He's proven.
I know. I would just feel bad if the guy gets denied a 6-year waiver and then he has no shot in the NFL.
Right.
And then that's potentially $2 or $3 million out the door. And that's where if you go to the NCAA and you go, hey, look, I played in JUCO for free basically, but my talent level's here, and you're denying me to be able to earn $2 or $3 more million. So if he has a shot to make the league, then you kind of don't feel as bad for him. But he's got according to many scouts, according to this article, significant NFL potential. Early to mid-round guy. All right, so there you go. I'm glad for him then. I hope he get 6 year of eligibility might be a diamond in the rough for him. Might be a good thing for him to be able to do that. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We're going to get you ready for it. The Utah Mammoth taking on the St. Louis Blues over here across the street. 6 o'clock is your pre, and then a 7 o'clock puck drop right here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Oh, nightmare start for the Oregon Ducks and Dante Moore. 11 seconds in. First snap of the game for the Oregon offense, a pick 6 by Indiana. They're up 7-0, and they just kicked the ball off again. So let's see if they can get it going again. Dan Lanning had a nice smile on his face and was trying to tell Dante Moore to relax, but everybody else is going, oh, boy.
I've seen this movie before, Dante Moore throwing interceptions against Indiana.
It's not a great start. So Indiana doesn't even have to take the field. They defer to the second half for possession. That's why it is so tough when you give if you turn the ball over the very first possession of a game and you're already behind the 8 ball, not just because of the score, but you're giving the ball to this team again in the second half right out of the gate. Your advantage of getting the ball first on offense is gone immediately, and it's just a terrible start for Dante Moore and the Oregon Ducks, who now start up their second time around here as they get going in the college football playoff semifinal. And what is this, the Peach Bowl? Yeah.
Yes.
In Atlanta. They did a wide shot of the stadium. JJ and I were watching this thing. What do you think the percentage is of red to green in that stadium?
70-30.
I mean, it may even be more. It might be 80-20. It is so many Indiana fans who have waited a lifetime, their ancestors coming back from the dead to attend this game because that's how bad they've been forever. Excuse me. Sorry.
Is Bobby Knight there then?
Oh, would you settle down? I'd say let him rest, but I don't know if he's resting.
Or did Satan wouldn't give him the weekend off?
Hey, I didn't know. Give him the weekend off. He's on house arrest with the hell anklet on.
Lucifer wouldn't let him loose for a
Oh my
day.
goodness. Well, that's bad. But hey, yeah, sure. Are you kidding me? He never thought once about Indiana football ever. I bet he didn't even attend a football game ever.
I wouldn't have attended back then.
Even as a thanks. All right. Mammoth and St. Louis Blues over at Delta Center coming up 6 minutes away from your pregame starting up here. JJ, how does this one go for this team, and what do they have to do to get the second win in a row here at home?
I like the way they're playing right now. I think that that Rangers game really galvanized this team, and I like the way they came out and played against Ottawa. Feels like they've got something building now. And they played the Blues on the road a while back and really took it to them. And the Blues came back in that game and made it interesting. But
it's 3-0 in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was when Logan Cooley got the hat trick. In the first period. So I think that the at home the matchup I like for Utah. I think the Mammoth get a win tonight, and they need to get a win tonight. You got to start stacking these W's, as we've talked about repeatedly, and tonight's another chance to do that. So
you've got this one, and then they come back around on Monday, and they've got themselves a game. Oh, let me see here. They're taking on the Blue Jackets on
Columbus Blue Jackets is on Sunday.
Oh, that's a Sunday game.
Yes.
Yeah. So they go tonight, and then they go Sunday against the Blue Jackets. Yeah, and that's one too. That's one that they can absolutely get. You bring a team in here out of the Eastern Conference who doesn't know a ton about this team and doesn't play a lot at this.
You're not losing at home to the Blue Jackets. You can't lose at home to the Blue Jackets.
I don't know enough about them. I know last year they weren't great, but I know this year they're not nearly as bad as they were.
Then the Leafs are in town on Tuesday.
Oof, and that's a team that needs a W. Man, ooh,
They're
that'd be nice.
They're as desperate as the Mammoth.
Well, and you start talking about getting eyeballs on your team and then getting wins that mean a lot. Anytime you beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I was at the game. I think I was at the game last year when they lost to Toronto here at home. All right, Mammoth, St. Louis Blues next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.